Good evening. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to stand. Is this okay, Darian? Thank you all for coming. What a privilege and an honor to have you to come with us tonight. And thank you to the fabulous First Missionary Baptist Choir in Yvonne Collins. You guys were awesome. We loved having you. And thank you to our speakers. We're grateful to be a part of your lives. And for all that you've shared, that you've taught us this year so much too. You know, experts recommend that companies and nonprofits lead with their why. You see it in ad campaigns and TED Talks. It's a good question, and it helps you communicate your vision. This is a vision banquet, after all. But I think tonight I want to start with our where and our who. Because without the who and the where, we have no ministry. It's right there in the name, Heart for Winter Haven. So let's start with our where. Here is our where. It's a word we use over and over again. You heard it a lot tonight, community. Community covers a variety of definitions. It is a place. Certainly, it's Winter Haven, it's our neighborhoods, our churches, our businesses. But according to Webster, it's also a group of people. It's a feeling of fellowship or similarity or identity. It is joint ownership, but it's also joint liability. Our lives are richer and more productive in community. So how do we do that? What are the tools? What do we need? What's the cost? How do we grow community? At Heart for Winter Haven, we say that we want to alleviate poverty in all its forms. But we also want to grow community in all its forms. Community is our where. I'll come back to the who in a minute. Earlier this year, my wife and I took our daughter back to Covenant College for her sophomore year, and I witnessed the wonder of small things in her community. There were things like a hug between friends who hadn't seen each other all summer, and a kind and generous word. But it added up to something big. One night, the girls snuck into the dorms to help each other move beds and furniture so they could help a friend, my daughter, who was sick. The result of witnessing my daughter's community was a comfort in my heart as a dad. And watching these girls rally around each other to help, it was such a reminder of the importance of those small things, like a hug or a kind word, time. That got me to thinking, which is dangerous. Small things, can easily be forgotten. Small things may appear to have no value, but small things have a collective power and presence. A drop of water isn't much of all, but many drops of water with a little wind added in, and you have a Category 4 hurricane. Eternity is something our minds just can't grasp. Yet we know that it's made up of days and hours, comparatively very small. But we measure and plan our lifetimes this way. And in the great sweep of humanity, we also know that each of our lives is a very small part of that whole, and yet one life holds the potential to change the course of human history. God made that abundantly clear to us when he sent Jesus to the earth. Jesus lived in ordinary time as we do, with ordinary people as we do, and for most of it in an ordinary way as we do. He lived in community with family and friends and nations, definitely with and in conflict, but he lived patiently, inclusively, and sacrificially. I see many shared lives in that story, and that's what we're after too. We want to call us all to shared life way of living. Just like the one that Paul talked about in his first letter to the Thessalonian church. Community is collective and it's living, built of shared lives and shared hours. It's made up of small things pieced together. In Zechariah 4:10, it instructs us not to despise the day of small beginnings. That was written a long time ago. Apparently, we've always hated when things start small. The tasks, the issues we face are so overwhelming. Why bother? Let's watch some TikToks. Someone else can handle it, but everything has to start somewhere, with something at some time, with an effort or a decision. We've chosen a quilt tonight as a visual reference for this. This quilt began with scraps that were headed for the trash, from clothing that had outlived its usefulness, that didn't fit together at first, but these scraps were retrieved, sewn together, and now they form something beautiful and comforting. They were collectively redeemed, if you will, one piece at a time. Here at Heart for Winter Haven, at our 2022 banquet, which is actually our 5th annual banquet, we started from a very small beginning. We've also grown and continue to grow small, one person, one situation, one family at a time. The first piece for us was Jobs for Life. And if you will, I'd like to just give a quick shout out if my friend Ryan Ray, who's the CEO of Jobs for Life, he flew down just to come to our banquet. Thank you, Ryan. It means a lot for you to be here, and Jobs for Life is certainly at the core of who we are too. After Jobs for Life, we added other pieces. Our housing partnership, our care management, our Life from the Heart in the jails, Scholarship House, then Faith and Finances, and our work at Lift Alliance. Like a quilt, the various pieces have come together into something quite beautiful and comforting. While our programs and organization is great, we believe our greatest asset is you, the people of Winter Haven. We knew that neighborhoods are not just a collection of houses. The strength and beauty of a neighborhood is the neighbors, those who reside there. So we asked, how can we develop neighborhoods and develop pathways from the margins to the strength of the center, to the heart of our community, from the isolated outside to the connected inside? This year specifically, we've been asking, how can we help people who are generationally marginalized, who haven't had access to knowledge and understanding about finances and banking? How can we help them as they grow personally and spiritually to see the many assets that God has already placed in and near them? And how can we help them to learn to grow those financial assets that can assist their family's stability? So we've been talking to our friends at the banks and learning how to do that, using some tools available in the world of finance. And you'll hear more about that in the coming year. How we can help people develop access to affordable credit, to develop understanding of how to grow assets in their lives. Heart for Winter Haven works from the premise that everything we do has to lead towards some kind of development. It must have that stamp, development, not distribution. With our local businesses, churches, and nonprofits, all our efforts together are to see people uplifted or added to help people grow, to help them connect. We want to see the lame walk, not just create more lame people. This is our way. Again, this year, we've met so many people who are economically disinherited and feel like outcasts. Most of those families have one thing in common. They lack meaningful, healthy community. They've come through our doors, and we've been able to serve them through the grants and because of our partners. By the way, we are so grateful for our great relationships we have with our city and county governments, and we're honored to have Commissioner Dr. Martha Santiago here tonight, so thank you for being here as well. With the help of our elected officials and our champions like you all, last year we have helped hundreds and hundreds of families. And our work and support has helped keep families and individuals from becoming homeless and returned homeless folks to homes. These are the folks that we invite back to Faith and Finances to grow a healthier relationship with money, with stewardship and banking. The next real step, and the thing we believe in the strongest, how can we introduce them to community? We don't want to see our Faith and Finances or Jobs for Life class be the only time that people get to experience community. We want to connect these families with a community of faith and pass on our relationships with our friends who are members of those communities of faith. We know that financial literacy or employability classes aren't going to solve the real brokenness in people's lives. We know that it's only in community, it's in communion, that we experience healing and transformation. So what do we want for our community? We want to see people of faith and goodwill slow down and take those small steps with people in relationship with them. We want to empower our city to work together to do this. We see local churches as the strategic outposts that we can invite people into, but we need to construct a bridge so that people from the margins can find their way there. We need to add pathways for people to come in daily. So we want to grow stronger partnerships with churches and community groups that want to grow their capacity to reach into the margins. We want to find and train what we call community care managers who will serve at churches throughout the city, bringing the kinds of developmental programs that help them grow, like Faith and Finances and Jobs for Life and Person of Jesus, connecting people in need to people in community. Though we are now a staff of 12, if you blinked, you probably just think it's me and B and a couple other people, but now we are 12 people, and they're awesome. Heart for Winter Haven was never meant, it never means to be a big organization, but we do have a big vision. We're a movement of people empowering others to recognize that right in front of us every day is a facet of the image of God, and to help each other realize, to help each other see people in this way. Each person we meet, no matter how fractured, is an image bearer. We've captured that information for you. If people come to you afterwards and say, well, what did you do last night? We have a card for you. So if you can find the small card that was on your place setting, looks like this, like you just pull it out. And I want to thank Joe Simons from Salt Strong, who did a lot of work on this with us. He wasn't able to be here tonight, but he was so important to us. The first thing I want you to notice is our USP. It's our unique service proposition. We believe poverty has been misdiagnosed. It's rooted in broken relationships. So we bring people together through collaborations that restore relationships, build resources, and grow community. We propose a different understanding of poverty. We don't say, oh, if you're poor, the answer is money. Money is an important tool, but let's put it in the right place. No, their poverty, your poverty, my poverty is all rooted in something entirely different. Intimacy and community, friendship, is more of an answer to poverty than money and houses and cars and bank accounts. We want to put community in reach of people, not just in reach of resources. We want that for them too. And not just for those people who we're working with, but for us too, because we've all been fooled. We've all been tricked into believing in those other things. Let's get the basics right and then put the basics in the right order. People are a priority, so it's shared lives. That's what we're promoting, the shared life message of the gospel. If you look next, our mission, it's the CARE. Our mission is to care, and this is Joe's genius, to connect, to alleviate, to restore, and to elevate. We want to connect all sectors of our city together, businesses, nonprofits, churches, our city government. We want to alleviate poverty in all its forms using that understanding and restore relationships and elevate the entire community. Here's our vision. We're finally getting to the why. By December 31st, 2025, we will directly impact the lives and homes of 1,000 families. We're well on our way. And then by December 31st, 2025, we will launch the Center for City and Life Transformation. That's going to be a place where we can equip people both for their living and for ministry, like the kids talked about. And then here's the big one. By December 31st, 2030, we will ensure there isn't a single homeless child in Winter Haven. Well, thank you. That's big, right? How will we do this? I can't tell you that I know all the details from where I stand here, but I can tell you it will start small. It will mean better data, more community, more resources, more employment, more collaborations. And I can tell you there's a place for you in this work. Sometimes, as if this isn't enough, when I'm really dreaming, I like to fast forward and think about the city and imagine how it will be when this shared vision we have becomes our shared reality. Kids playing in the streets, grandparents safe in their rockers up on the front porch, neighbors who know each other and look out for each other, elderly are cared for, and kids come home to refrigerators that aren't empty because their parents have meaningful work. They're fulfilling purpose in their lives, houses that are safe and well kept and affordable, businesses that are doing well, their incomes are growing, and there's real justice in the marketplace. Can you see that? We're so privileged to hear the stories of change and gratitude. Real change is possible if people are committed to community and to a way, a truth, and a life, and are willing to invite others in. Those that are ready for change have experienced something that has turned into gratitude. Where I'm grateful is where I have the most ability to grow. It's a real response to grace. I think it's a grace itself. This is what we want to see. Not just a temporary relief from a hunger or some financial setback, but to see people really encounter Jesus, to experience more of him. The brokenness that we all suffer from is an incomplete experience of him. We want growth and grateful hearts to see Jesus through all the little micro encounters we have each day with each other. When we intentionally come together in community, there's a returning to him, a gathering in his name. He is there. He is here. Jesus is our who. It's Jesus who has the heart for Winter Haven, who we are pleased to serve and share that with. So, friends, join us, be a part of change in this community. If you've ever wondered if your faith can make a difference, wonder no more. It may not be the way you participated in the past, just giving or doing things. Our way believes that your life and your being has more value for transformation than just transaction. We've learned many things from trial and error, and we'd like to show you some of the things we've learned. We can help you skip over some of the hard parts, maybe. We want you to gather your own stories of change and gratitude from people who felt left out and now feel a part of something. That is the sewing of the quilt of life, comforting and beautiful. How does it feel to be part of community? It feels like a warm quilt, comforting and beautiful. We're here to do this together, to make this investment in this city, one small step at a time, one small piece at a time, together, ordinary people creating extraordinary community. Thank you so much.